So recognizing methods of drafting text to show logical development of central ideas or concepts through using the use of relevant supporting details. You want to start with the main idea. The key concept being expressed or examined, or the overall gist of what the piece will be dealing with as a whole. And then the thesis statement is a one or two sentence condensation of your argument or analysis, which will follow you in your writing. It narrows the overall main idea. And then a topic sentence is generally at the beginning of the opening paragraph, and it'll give the one sentence summary of the main point. The topic sentence is the main idea of each paragraph, and it contains a focus of the paragraph. It'll tell the reader what the paragraph is going to be about, and it'll include the topic and the controlling idea. Um, the topic is what the paragraph is going to talk about, and what the paragraph will talk about. It is the controlling idea. Um, so it basically tells you what you want, tells the audience what you want to say about the topic. And it explains who, where, why, how, and when. And the purpose, the part of the topic sentence that can be expounded upon is the controlling idea. So recognize methods of revising text to eliminate wordiness, redundancy, distracting details, and extraneous information. So to eliminate wordiness, wordiness happens when the writer uses more words than they need to use. And this leads to meaninglessness and confusion. So to reduce wordiness, you have to look for the repeated words and ideas and get rid of them. And you also have to make sure that each paragraph has its own topic. You have to add new information that'll support each topic. You have to use synonyms to avoid repeating the words, or just delete the words altogether. Unnecessary words are the words that can be taken out without changing the meaning of a sentence. You can also remove the qualifiers, and qualifiers are words that explain how how another word or idea is good enough. They intensify an adjective or or an adverb, like very, extremely, to, so, like, or rather. And then you could also reorganize, which makes your writing more concise. You have to do that, you have to move words and phrases. And you got to change the passive voice to the active voice. The passive voice is the subject. The passive voice is when the subject noun comes after the main verb. So the main verb comes first, and then you use the noun. And then the sentence will often end with the prepositional phrase. And then you can also combine related sentences. Recognize methods of revising text to generate interest and clarify meaning, such as varying sentence length and structure, maintaining parallelism, and using appropriate and varied transitions. Editing for content. So there are two stages. Um, the first one is spelling and grammar, and then the second one is um, revising. So, or this, so when you're editing, when you're copy editing, you're fixing the spelling and the grammar. And then you can use the acronym COPS to help you remember what that is. Then the punctuation, the revising acronym will be ARMS, and that is a way to help you remember how to revise. You have to add details, remove the words or sentences that don't make sense, move words and sentences that would get better somewhere else. I spelled that wrong. And substitute engaging, exciting words and sentences that don't make sense. So when you're editing for content, you're just making sure that your point is effective, clear, and accurate. What are you going to look for when you're editing for content? Well, your content has to be engaging. It should have an engaging opening paragraph, and it should state the main idea. It has to be coherent. That means that the arguments and statements should be logical. And each paragraph has a topic sentence. Definitions for confusing terms are would should be included, and it should be consistent. So the focus has to remain on the main idea or on the thesis. And then you got to fact check as well. So the claims have to be supported by evidence. You need to have your citations. Don't use quotes and paraphrase too much. Less than 20% of the essay should be quotes. And then with the style, the sentences should have a varied structure. The tone should be formal, and the graphics should not distract from the message, and it should be formatted properly. A conclusion should restate the main idea, and it should not repeat it word for word. You should also recognize methods of proofreading and preparing text for publication. Proofreading is the process of finding and correcting spelling, grammar, punctuation, formatting errors. It should be the last step in the writing process. And using punctuation symbols can help you save time. Heterographs are words that sound the same but have different meanings and spellings. And when you line edit, you have to check for spelling and grammar mistakes. After writing, editing, and revising, you have to go do something else and then come back later, because then you'll have fresher eyes to find your mistakes. So after that, you should review each correction individually, and you should read the essay back to yourself, or maybe have somebody else read it to you. And then, or also you could read the essay backwards. If you proofread the specific types of errors one at a time, you should do it about 3 times. And then first time you have to check for spelling. The second time you have to check for punctuation. And then the third time you have to check for general purpose. Stay tuned, and we are going to talk about how to understand the elements of effective and appropriate research.